Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, and welcome to our regular Tuesday chat about AI. Just a quick introduction. My name is Dave McCall, and I specialise in helping people understand emerging technologies, with which AI is one of them. My co-presenter.
Yeah, Ayşe, and I'm a leadership development and well-being coach, and I'm working with high-achieving female leaders, and I'm more interested in how artificial intelligence, for example, ChatGPT, can help female leaders on the challenges like time constraints, feeling invisible, not having time for self-care, and also ineffective communication. So, how ChatGPT and AI can help on these challenges.
So between us, we're going to give a short presentation on prompt engineering. There's lots of various different terms for it, but prompting is basically where one would start with any type of AI tool that you're using, whether it's to text to generate text, whether it's to generate images, whether it's to generate even things like a presentation. So this is our latest presentation. And between the pair of us, we put this together using artificial intelligence. There are lots of tools out there in terms of their applications, so you can get text to text, text to image. There's loads, there really is. So this is basically was produced by entering some ideas into a piece of software, which the ideas was the prompt. So we're just going to go through the basics really and get you hopefully some kind of understanding of how and what this works and how it can get the desired effect. So a quick rundown on the introduction. Language models need prompting to be helpful and harmless. So what we mean by that, the most well-known one is probably ChatGPT. There are various other versions around, but the principles are the same. So in order to get it to work, you need to put something into the chat box. So if you've ever been online waiting to speak to an advisor, there's lots and lots of retailers nowadays. Apple's a good example where they use a chatbot function. So very much similar to that, where you've got your cursor, you point it, press enter, and start typing a set of instructions as to what you want. Prompting provides careful instructions, and we can give you examples of how that works and what it looks like and so forth. It's really quite simple. We're going to cover prompts, guide models, behavior towards desired outcomes. So like any conversation that you have, in order to get to the desired effects, you wouldn't just walk in the room and sort of introduce yourself and then just walk out again. You'd want to carry on a conversation. And one of the things that prompting does is you are inputting that conversation into the software, whether it's OpenAI, ChatGPT, Bard, Claude 2, there's loads out there. There are positive and negative feedbacks, and there's ways to correct mistakes. And again, we'll cover all these things for you as well. Go to the next slide, please. So why does prompting matter? Aligning language models with human values, avoiding harmful, biased and nonsensical text, and tapping into the potential of large language models, directing models towards benevolent ends. So they can have a little bit of a mind of their own. So you've got to be very mindful about what you want to put in, what your desired outcome is, and look for things that actually don't make sense, because there are one or two use cases out there where that's actually happened, where someone's put some input in and it's just made up an answer. Certain language models do certain things, and understanding each one is quite critical to getting the desired outcome. So if you know what you want, prompt it and keep prompting it until it does make sense and until it does produce actually what it is that you want. You can do so many different things with it. I mean, even my language, English, if you want it to write in the style of an English speaking person, as opposed to an American English speaking person, if that makes sense, you can do that. So it will, the word color, for instance, the Americans take the U out. We don't, we leave it in there. So you could have, if you're an English person, text that's written in what basically is pure English, right? If you're based in the States and you've got an American audience that you want to reach, you might not want that. So you can sort of dictate which way it can and can't go. So can we have the next slide, please? Key benefits of prompting: steers models towards the intended behavior. I think we've kind of gone over a few of those points there. The myth out there is that AI will kind of take over the human thinking. You'll still need to have a human behind it all in order to input, make it work, and decipher whether it's actually content that they want to release or not. Because at the end of the day, what you're producing is content of some description at the desired effect. There's some controls for safety and reduced biasness. That's actually being worked on at the moment, where some companies are introducing like a token system that's going to impact in a positive way on these large language models doing their own thing, going off on a tangent or what have you. We're not quite there yet, but we're very much on the way, and it's getting better and better every time that we use it. And again, some LLMs are better than others with certain types of behavior. I mean, there's some that are really good with maths, and there's some that are terrible. So these organizations that are behind it all are very much aware of the improvements that they need to make. And of course, we will benefit from that, and it reduces such a lot of workload. Improves capabilities and unlocks advanced skills. I'm not very good at putting PowerPoint together, but the one that we're looking at, I did in a matter of seconds. But things like that for me, I find these type of tools are really quite useful, and I wouldn't go quite so far to say I couldn't live without them, but it certainly speeds up process and gets things done an awful lot quicker. So that's the 3 points on the benefits there. Best practices for prompt engineering. Basically, provide clear instructions, use positive and negative examples, leveraging format for better structure, ask questions to stress test responses. So if you've got a very clear view what you want to write about and provide that with clarity, they'll spit out an example. So you'll see a set of texts that's governed by the input that you've given it. Now you can tell the systems whether it's been going on YouTube for ages. You've got the thumb up and the thumb down. So tell it if it's positive, because that will help others that use the same system. And the same in reverse. If it's not that good, if it's not the desired effect, you can give it the thumbs down, and the development team will be able to make the improvements based on that information that you provided. Leveraging and formatting for better structure. I mean, you can do all sorts of things like I did a post a few months ago, and I wanted to put certain emojis in. I'm not very good with emojis, so I said, "I'll use an emoji for this and that," and it did exactly that. Hashtags, certain hashtags I wanted to have included, and it will write that for you. So you haven't got to worry about thinking about that afterwards. So the formatting for these models are there as well. Not many people are using that. If you want something put in a table, for instance, you can have that done. And asking questions to stress test and seeing what responses you get, that's a really useful thing to do, and something I recommend that you should do as a matter of course. And there are more. So check for unwanted bias, tweak the wording. You might get a lot of repetition, so that's something that that you need to be mindful of, and just check before you sort of put that content out. And start simple, like anything, any business, anything that's successful, they normally start from a very simple idea, and you can elaborate as you go further into the journey. So I tend to put a short paragraph of something. It will be write a post about telecoms and the improvements that we're experiencing and why this matters to business, and it'll put out some content. So I'll quickly read that, and if there's some changes I want or improvements that I want, I can go back into the system and ask it to do that. This is literally whilst you're looking at the screen. And a lot of them now, you can either do it by type, you can talk into your microphone and get it to work that way. Control the length and complexity of prompts. So yes, if they're relatively short, you can elaborate from it. Some people like to put great big long lengthy things in. Bit hit and miss. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But again, that will really depend on the language model that you're using. Bards might be different to, say, Perplexity, which might be different to Bing Chat or even ChatGPT. They will all have varying outcomes, even if you put the exact same text. And I've tried it. It's quite astonishing how that works. So you'll find a prompt and a way to prompt and the length of the prompt that will best fit you. So the last point on here: ensure prompts are reusable and documented. You could build up a list, or what these LLMs tend to do now is they have a history. So you can go back through your history and see what you've actually written and kind of adjust that accordingly. If you want to do something similar but on a different subject, you might want to write about the history of Turkey over the last 2,000 years, and then the next week you might want to do one on the history of Austria or something like that. So by definition, it should really work when you reuse it, but it will adapt it according to the target, which would be first one Turkey, next one Austria. Case demo. We're kind of looking at one. We've put this PowerPoint together, and how I did it was I entered a load of text onto a Word document. After prompting it through, I use Claude 2 because I get that here in the UK, and it's one of my preferred ones. And it gave me a list, and I put it through, and that's how we generated the PowerPoint, which is now gone.
Okay. So yeah, maybe we can share also a live demo as well if you want.
Yeah. So what I'll do, I'll share my thing here. Just move you across there a bit.
It's a very nice picture, by the way.
You like that? That's near where I live.
Oh.
It's got a filter on it, but there's an artist down there that's also a really good photographer, and that's what he put it on Facebook, I think, if I remember rightly. And I thought, yeah, that looked quite nice. I'm just going to log into Claude. Trouble with this, it logs you out after a period of time. I had it all set up, and here we go again. Hey. I don't know why it takes so long. Let's see if that loads up as well. So we'll do this. So let's think. So design a PowerPoint presentation about how AI helps business. In fact, I'm going to leave that error in there. Because it's so you can see it working away, giving you detail on slides. And it's going until, I mean, this is a big one, Q&A. So that's done in 16 slides, and we can reduce that. We can go through it. So even with a spelling mistake at the start here, it knew what I wanted. So it's given it a presentation title, the introduction, what is AI, you know, where we can use it. And you can see down here on the left, there's all these various historical chats. I don't use ChatGPT as much as I used to. My preferred option is this one, but for some reason it's not loading up. But you can see what it can actually do and the content that it'll create. I can then copy that, give it a thumbs up or down. I mean, let's do that for now. I can then copy that and put it into a, if I can find it. I don't think I've got it on here. I use a couple of browsers. So I use this, GPT for slides. And I can put that, I won't do it because it will take quite a while on a shared view. I'll try it, I'll see if it will work. Does it look like slides? Well, I did have it. Let me install it. This is worth watching as well, because all this is a an extension. Right, so I have to go into Google. Well, that's right, yeah. It's not going to work on this. I think I know where it is now. I use several browsers, as you can probably gather. I'm wondering if it's here. So this is it. It will open up. Right. Oh, I can't find it. Sorry about this. It should be. Here we go. Yeah, so if I go to blank, and somewhere extensions. Right, so you can see it's open up the app on the side there. Because we're sharing this, it's taken longer than it normally does. Just put that for now. Get started there. For some reason I had to reload it. So I should literally just be able to go paste. Let's got all that in there, enter your topic and info. So we'll call this AI guide, just for the hell of it. And we'll click generate. Now you can see it's counting down. It takes about 2 minutes, and it will generate all the bits and pieces that I've taken from the chat and produce a document that will be of some use. Sometimes it will merge some of the lettering, but there you go. Look at that. So we've got 5 slides together.
Mm-hmm.
I can add that and make it 10, 15, whatever. I just left it at 5 because I knew it'd be a while.
Mm-hmm.
But there you are. There's a fully functioning PowerPoint that took less than 5 minutes.
Yeah, that's impressive, Dave. So is it possible to just shortly again go through the process step by step, very shortly, just?
Okay, let's stay where we are. So let's go. Let's turn everything off. So if I try and use Claude, so this is just like ChatGPT. I just prefer it. So if I put design a PowerPoint presentation to show how AI helps business. I've done it again. I've spelt it wrong, but I'm just going to do that for the sake of it. So I click enter, and it's thinking about it. I can be more specific and tell them how many slides I want. You know, I could go really, really deep if I wish, but for this purpose of demonstration, I'll just assume that everything here is good and everything. So I'm going to copy that. So there's a little copy button where I could retry it. Let's just copy that for now. I'll then go and open up a slide. So you open up Google Slides. Let's take a little while. I just choose the blank one. So here. Okay. Then I go to, along the top, I go to extensions. And I'm using this second one here. I've got a few of them, as you can see, magic slides. So open that. Now, it's a free to use for starters, but after a while, you have to buy credits.
Mm-hmm.
You'll see down here, I've already used one, so it's got credits for.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm going to do is give it a title. So AI guide for business, for argument's sake. I'm going to change that 5 to 9. I'm going to put my text in here, literally by pasting it. I don't have to do anything else. Extra info source, I've just left that for the time being, but you can put a URL in the reference, Wikipedia by title, all sorts of things there. I'll leave that as is. I'll leave it in English. And I just click the generate button. And as you can see, it's counting down and it will generate the content. this has got twice the amount of information that the last one has, and we'll just have to wait and see what the outcome is. And obviously, if I needed to save it, I won't teach you how to suck eggs, but it's the conventional file and save, what have you. But I just want to show you what this is capable of doing. You can modify this. There are ways of going in and modifying it. I'll just take it as is for now. Now, here's an example of sometimes when it doesn't go quite right, because for some reason it's given us 7 instead of 9. So if you really specifically wanted 9, you could always add to that. So rate generation presentation, I would give it a good, not a great. And this will tell the developers about, I'll put 2 slides were missing. Requested 9, generated 7. And share that feedback, and that'll go to the tech team of the business that runs this.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's it. It's as simple as that. So you've seen 2 examples of where it can go quite right and having a little number of slides as such. And you can also see sometimes when it goes a little bit wrong and the action that you would need to take. And you can still add other slides to it in a conventional way because you're still using Google Slide software. But generally speaking, if you've got a short presentation to do and you're stuck for ideas, you're in a bit of a rush, something like this could save you hours of time. And if this is something that you like, great. I don't really use PowerPoint. I don't particularly like PowerPoint. But for those that do, and for those that would use it, this could be a really useful tool.
Yeah, this, I think, great time saver also for busy leaders and entrepreneurs. So it is great, I think.
Yeah.
So maybe I can share some very quick, another example for prompting, quick one.
Okay.
So, okay. Just highlighting that I'm not expert, just sharing my experiences. So I'm using ChatGPT, and during the day, let's say we read many articles and so on, and we don't have time to read all those articles. So this is an article from Forbes, for example. It is about the importance of true leadership as we face recession. So just we copy it. Of course, there are tools that make summary of all these websites, but one way is to making very tailored copy. Summary is like condense the following article into 5 main bullets, and then just you copy and paste, and then it goes by. So as you see, just 5 bullet points. And also you can say that make this specific for the leaders in the tech industry. So something you can make for your specific for your audience. So it will totally change. You see, is true leadership is the paramount for tech industry leaders. Tech leaders must lead by example, and it is all for tech. And even last example. So generate these 5, this is the part I like, main bullet points for my audience whose age is 7 to 9 years old. Okay, how you can tell? So you can change the age, but this needs to be very clear prompting. So you will see it's very different. So all these 3 are different. So one is general and the other one is for tech, and other one is 7 to 9 years old. And if you don't like, you can just change it, like good leaders in tech world use cool new technologies and always learn new things. Leaders make sure everyone feels safe and happy, and they listen to ideas from everyone. So this is a very basic language, for example, for children that they can understand. So it is all about how you prompt, how clearly you write the prompt. So yeah, those were my insights.
No, that was excellent. Gives hopefully the those watching this an idea of how deep you can go and how specific you can be with your audience. You know, it's I think people tend to write things just assuming that everybody will understand exactly what they've written, forgetting that there are various age gaps and, let's face it, educational standards that some people that could be adults might have a reading ability of a 12-year-old. So if you can make it easy for them to understand, you can provide really good, clear messages for those types, you know, of audiences. But that's I don't have anything else at hand to demonstrate. Have you got anything to finish with?
I think we will just shortly, we can finish by telling what is prompt chaining, because it's very popular, but some people are confused what prompt chaining is.
So prompt training, I suppose the best way to explain how and what that is, after a while, once you get used to using a particular tool, it gets used to your habits and your requests. Because you're logging in and it knows who you are by the fact that you're logging in, and there's a history, it double checks the history, really, obviously, simultaneously, instant, and so forth, and will learn from that. And that's why it's kind of like a learning model. It's learning from all the stuff that you've put in. So it won't necessarily just take your first bit of input is, that's what they mean, let's do that. They will cross-reference, or the software rather, will cross-reference it to all the other information that you've put. So you can actually start to train it to kind of write like you. And this again takes away a lot of this fear of people that, if I use AI tools and I want to write a piece on a great big long article about a subject that's close to me. When in the early days when they first come out, it was quite obvious. You could see where people were using these tools, but now it's getting more difficult because these tools that we're using are getting more intelligent by matter of fact of the information that we're loading it up. Twitter's the same. You look at what Elon Musk is doing at Twitter and why he's got Twitter. It's a huge database of language, and although you can't write into Twitter and ask it to do certain bits and pieces that you can with AI, these type of sites are getting used to collecting lots and lots of information and kind of getting familiar with your style. So prompting, think about when you write something on whether it's LinkedIn or Twitter or Facebook. When you're writing something, you write from the heart, from your emotion. At the early days, it won't really understand that, but you can even say, look, right in this, I want something to be highly clickbait. I want it to be engaging. I want it to create debate. I want it to ask the reader questions, and it will do all that for you. So long as you've got like a theme. So if you want it to be about, I don't know, ChatGPT, I mean, try it. Get it to write about ChatGPT and ask it for things like, why are people objecting to it? Why do people like it? And it will go on and on until you stop. And it will get used to you and your styling of questions. So that's how you can engineer these prompts. You can get it to almost recognize what you're going to want by the fact that you're typing stuff in.
Yeah, those are great points. Thank you, Dave. Maybe finally we can a little bit give insights about prompt chaining. So I can go for, and then if it is okay.
Yeah, do go for it.
Yeah. So again, it is, for example, I will share my screen again. So let's say that this was our article, and I'm giving an example. This is importance of true leadership as we face recession, and you may want to write an article on, let's say that how AI can help true leadership to become a true leader when we face recession. You can go directly say that just you can copy and paste, and then you can say generate an article about this, but it will be very confusing for it. So what we do is first, if you want to write such an article, first we have, this is the model. We are creating a model. First we create the model for ChatGPT. So I will go for that, and I will say that, for example, again, same prompting, but generate main bullet points from the following article. And okay, it's going, and it's generating this, and then we will ask the second stage is write me a 500 words article on how AI can help help to become true leaders during recession based on the points above. So, and then it will go, it's even giving the title, even though I'm not asking. So introduction, AI as an example of true leadership, building trust and transparency. And then it's going navigating challenges with innovation, leveraging wisdom of AI infused board. It's all going, but it's what it is doing is it is creating all these bullet points from the text above. So what we do is we first scan and ask for the general bullet points, step 1, and step 2 is writing a specific article, and then you can go one more step, write, for example, as an academic paper or in the voice of whoever you want, that doesn't matter. So you see how it changes. So it totally changes. Of course, I don't recommend to write academic papers from that because you need to check if it gives references. But this is prompt chaining is step one, step by step designing what you want to write or what kind of content you want to create, like scanning the article and then having the main points and then modifying accordingly with your topic, and then at the end writing in the voice of whatever you want, and then of course you need to finally edit. So this is prompt chaining, building on each other step by step, because otherwise if you try to do everything in one prompt, it will not work or it will be very confusing for AI. So those were my
That's interesting. I did something similar yesterday, where I found an article about this product that I'm involved in, and I managed to get, I think it was about 10 different posts for my LinkedIn, like for today, tomorrow, etc. By going in and asking those questions, I thought, oh, this is good. Copy that, desired effect. And because I was going to and from the article, I was using bits out of there to say, oh, that's handy, I could use that. And there was some nice facts and figures in there. So I asked a prompt to sort of concentrate on the numbers. There was other parts where it was about dates and when things were going to start to change. And that was very, very relevant to what I had to write. I mean, in the old days, I would have copied that, put it on the Word document, and then sort of try and rewritten it. It would have taken me ages. But I managed to do, I think it was 7 posts right up to when I go away. I managed to do 7 posts, and it took me, no more than 15 minutes. Because you can keep referring to the article. Even sometimes you can just copy the link, and it will understand that, right, I found that, and this is what you do. But again, that will depend on which language model tool you're using. Some are really good at it, some just aren't. But have you tried to translate it into Turkish?
Yeah, I tried, and it's okay.
Yeah,
not perfect, but it is okay.
Because I think with some of the popular languages, English, Spanish, I think French is another one. It's quite good at that. But some of the lesser used ones, I know Turkish is quite a well-spoken language, but I think some of those other ones, it will struggle in places. But again, depends how technical you want to go, doesn't it? It's like everything.
Yeah, at least it can give the general idea, general translation, and then from there you can make it better. It is better than starting from scratch or ground level 0.
Definitely. So I don't have anything further to add for this week. Aisha, have you got anything else to add? Or shall we say goodbye now? And
yeah, I think it's time to say goodbye. And if there is any question for us or any comments in terms of what our audience would like to see, they can leave a comment or send a direct message to you or me. So
yeah,
that's the way.
No problem. Well, thanks again for this week. It's been great joining you. The journey continues, and we'll see you hopefully next week.
Yeah, hope to see you next week.